Today on the Tom Kelly Show, we are going to be talking about beige flags. It's a big TikTok topic right now. You know what a red flag is. You know what a green flag is. Beige flags, they're their own little weird thing. Plus, I'm in a tuxedo. Am I trying to get into my friend's dating auction? Or am I talking about the United States Army's birthday? Actually, I'm talking about both. Let's start the show. Here we go. Trigger warning. Spoiler alert. I'm waving the beige flag of confusion. You are experiencing the Tom Kelly Show. That's right, kids. I'm in a tuxedo. Am I wearing it for a big event here at the show? I mean, we just hit 300 episodes at a Tom Kelly Show. Am I wearing it for that? No. My friend Danielle Monero is doing a celebrity dating auction. Am I trying to get into that? A little bit, but that's not why I'm wearing a tuxedo. I'm wearing it because the United States Army, my friend Chris Beige and his partner Jen Wilson, and my friend Susanna Marcella, every year, they and a group of fabulous volunteers throw a charity gala. Do you say gala or gala? My friend Susanna says gala, and I giggle every time. Gala. I prefer gala. That's how you say it on Long Island. It's a gala. Anyway, you let me know in the YouTube comments. But gala, whatever the hell it was, they throw this big party where you wear your tuxedos. And if you're in the military, you wear your dress uniform. And we raise money for charitable military and veteran-related causes. And I go to the party every couple of years because it's a great time. It's a great cause, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, let's start with a fun topic, a fun, happy topic. Actually, just on a personal note, too, I am trying to, for those of you watching on YouTube, part of why I'm podcasting now is not only am I just trying to get one more wear out of the tuxedo, but I'm also trying a new way of recording to see if it's easier than my old way of recording. And basically, the podcast mixing board was made in Australia, and it doesn't seem to be working with my American-made video cameras. So, yeah, I'm trying to find a way to streamline my process. So if you notice audio drift, that's what's happening here, where you see my lips out of sync with the video. It's because I'm just trying too hard to make this professional. And actually, it's such an analogy for my life. I've talked about how my life is a series of amazing puzzle pieces that don't quite fit together. I have an amazing microphone. I have an amazing soundboard. Right now, I'm using my iPhone 13, and for whatever reason, the things don't work quite well together. But I'm digressing. I'm giving you technical news you don't need. But the one piece of advice I do give you, if this is in some way the podcast about owning the midlife crisis, if this is the comedian hosting a self-help podcast who, quite frankly, needs to help himself a little bit more than he needs to help you, yeah, you got to try to do old things in different ways and see if that works. And that's what we're doing here today. So back to me. TikTok. It's a trend. Beige flags. Now, you know what a red flag is, people. You know what a red flag is in a dating sense. Red flag is he's mean. You know, it's like a warning sign about a person's personality. He's mean to his mother. That's a red flag. He'll be mean to you at some point. And a common red flag is you go on a date and he's mean to the server. That's a red flag. A green flag would be he's nice to his mother, so he'll be nice to you. A green flag would be he is nice to the server, therefore he must have compassion for the working person. Beige flag is kind of that little thing that makes you go, oh my God, that's a song. Things that make you go, It is, but not enough to make you want to stop dating the person, nor is it enough to make you want to date the person either. They're the little weird things. So here are some, the New York Times actually wrote about beige flags. Here are some of the beige flags in the article. Dunking your Oreos in water instead of milk. Beige flag. Turning on caps lock to type the first letter of every sentence instead of holding down shift, I guess. Okay, that's a beige flag. A little weird, whatever. Still playing with Legos as an adult. Beige flag. Because, Legos, that's a good one. Is he still an immature kid or is he just working the brain? Beige flag. Can't remember making plans with me, but remembers every fact about sharks. Beige flag. Acts like he's going to give me a kiss, but is hiding a strawberry in his mouth and tries to jam the strawberry into mine. That's more than a, that's a red flag. I'm sorry. That's as red as the strawberry he's trying to jam into your mouth. Other beige flags I found on TikTok. She always has a slight headache, but she's never actually sick. Beige flag. Wakes up at 6 a.m., naps at 10 a.m. That's actually my beige flag. So that's the thing. What are your beige flags? Leave a comment below. I will give you a couple of oh God, I'm sweating. God, again, I can't get the air conditioner. All right, I'm sweating and trying to look sexy in a tuxedo for the YouTube version of this podcast. Again, my life, a beautiful box of puzzle pieces that don't quite fit together. Tom, do you have air conditioning? Yes, I do. But if I turn it on during a podcast, you hear, and of course, right on cue, the darn refrigerator turns on too. Take that, America. So, using as I treat the Tom Kelly Show podcast as a possible top of the funnel to create various forms of content. Here we go. TikTok take Tom Kelly's beige flags. Ready? Here we go. Here are some of my beige flags. I love long walks on the beach alone. I wake up at 6 a.m., but I take a nap at 9:45 a.m. And I'm podcasting in a tuxedo. Beige flags. We'll see. Maybe I'll turn that into a TikTok, Instagram Live, or promo. Who knows? So I am in the tuxedo. And the two stories will fit together. Dating auctions and my time at the United States Army birthday gala. I have been going to the birthday gala for, 11 years now. They renamed it, I think, 10 years ago. But imagine a young 37-year-old Tom Kelly going to the New York Athletic Club in a tuxedo, hanging out with all his 30-something-year-old Army friends, getting really drunk at a fancy event. 11 years ago, the event was filled with one high school girl everybody had a crush on, from my own high school. It had 5 or 6 of my drinking buddies. And I think that's a fun word to use. Let's call them drinking buddies for the sake of this story. And again, my Army friends are really, American heroes in that they're goofballs like you and I who are serving our country. And I think that's something to remember when we go into different veteran events is that person in a uniform, they're a hero, but they're not a superhero. They're just like you and I. And that's what I love about this event. So pause on that story for a minute. Next part of the story is dating auctions. When I used to do a lot of work with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for Team in Training. Team in Training is they would train you for a triathlon or a marathon, and then you would, you'd go running with them. And then in exchange, you would raise money for charity. You'd raise money to help cure leukemia and lymphoma. I think it's the same thing, leukemia and lymphoma. Whatever it is, you'd raise money to cure cancer. So And my joke about the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in the 2010s was that it was a giant prostitution ring to raise money to cure cancer. It was. Every fundraising event that you would go to at LLS was a dating auction. And I have been auctioned off. I have been the auctioneer, and I've done some bidding. So yeah, there's actually 2 or 3 stories I could tell on this, but we'll focus on one. One of them is where I'm going to see a friend of mine named Nikki, and I'm not giving her last name because she is a friend of mine, but she will be the bad person in this story. She was in a dating auction, and at the time she was a professional cheerleader. She's gorgeous now, but was gorgeous and in cheerleader shape then, and she is incredibly successful. And I saw that success in her before she started achieving it. And we're at this auction, and it's me, Mr. Dumbass Comedian, and a bunch of finance bros, athletic finance bros, and God, I hate bros, people. I've never was a bro. Maybe because I'm not one, but bros always rubbed me the wrong way. That said, I would have loved to have bid on Nikki in this auction. And I did end up bidding on her. But I didn't have the money to pay what she was worth to these finance bros. But the auction starts. And it's like, all right, who wants to go on a date with Nikki for $100? And one of the bros raises their hand. And I'm like, that bro, he's got more than $100. So I bid 200. Finance bro goes 300. I know he's got more money than that. He's eager. He likes her as much as I do, if not more. 400. 500. Then I go 600. Then he goes, let's make it 625. I go 650. Then 700. And eventually we get up to, I think he has one more bid in him. I just wanted to squeeze him. I just wanted him to pay what she was worth. And I then say $800. And again, as a comedian, as a guy who does crowd work for a living, sometimes I do have a sense of people when I'm in a room full of them, in a crowd. My one-on-one social skills, awful. But in a room, there are times where people think I'm psychic because I kind of have a sense. And his hand goes up to go to 850, and his friend pulls the hand down. The auctioneer was a woman named Amy Freeze, who is a weather person on Fox, worked for years at ABC, Channel 7, a friend of mine. 800 going once, 800 going twice, sold to Tom Kelly. Now, what was I making a week back then? Pretty damn close to $825 on certain jobs. Now, what do? You can't welch on cancer, can you? No. So I say to Nikki, hey, I won you in the auction, and I'm going to be going to this big army event. It's going to be full of soldiers and people in tuxedos. I would love it if you went with me to the army dinner. And she said, yes. And I thought, you know what? Hey, not only is that a donation to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, but I would be bringing a celebrity of sorts to this dinner. Flash forward to my birthday, the day before we're supposed to have the dinner. And she says, Tom, something has come up and I can't go to the army dinner. And I'm like, Nikki, I paid $800 to go out with you for this one. And she's like, yeah, but we're friends. We'll go out another time. No, Nikki, I need you now. I need a date for this. I have people from the Army who were going to be excited that you were there. You were going to be the celebrity guest. Something came up. All right, things come up. What are you going to do? And then as I'm getting ready to go to the Army dinner, it was at a different, like, fancy rich guy club. Lots of statues of Abraham Lincoln. That's I can't remember the name of it, but we'll figure it out later. Lots of statues of Abraham Lincoln. Lots of busts. Actually, that's also my favorite word, a bust of Abraham Lincoln. Anyway, as I'm checking my Instagram, did she cancel plans because mom was sick? No. Did she cancel plans because something came up from work? No. She canceled going to the Army event with me because her kickball team made it into the championship, and her Instagram was filled with kickball pictures. Now I'm feeling low. And at that point, I had medical issues going on. I was having a lot of major dental work done. And I'm at this event, and I am shattered. And you know me, I'll tell my life story to anybody who will listen. And I'm talking to a good-looking male veteran in a tuxedo. He has a few medals on. He's not in full dress uniform. He's retired, but he has a few medals underneath where my little handkerchief is. And I'm like, yeah, well, I have these medical issues. This girl just, hurt my feelings, blah, blah, blah. And he listened. And then at the end of the conversation, it sort of comes up, well, what brings you to the dinner? And he's like, yeah, I had both of my legs blown off in Iraq. And, this charity did some nice things for me, so I want to support it. The whole time I'm complaining about not hanging out with a girl I had no shot with. Complaining about losing a few of my front teeth. There I am talking to a sexy, athletic man who served our country, who had no effing legs. And he was listening to me whine. And that, my friends, is the power of going to this Army Gala once a year. This is the power of having friends who introduce you to veterans. There's just moments where you talk to people and you go, what the hell am I whining about? And this year, I was in a much better emotional place, but I go to the party anyway. I don't go to just lift my spirits up, but I try to find one moment that, makes you feel like, hey, there are better people going through bigger struggles. And I wound up meeting a man named Dr. Arturo, and I don't have his last name in front of me. I couldn't spell it or say it even when I heard it. But Dr. Arturo was a surgeon in the Ukraine. And with the help of a translator, I was talking with him at the dinner, or at the cocktail hour of the dinner. And, Dr. Arturo is from one of the safer cities in Ukraine and volunteered to be a field medic for the Ukrainian army, got hurt, and was brought back to Staten Island for surgery. And I asked him, hey, Dr. Arturo, you had it easy. You were a surgeon. You could have just easily have left the country with your family and, you could have gone somewhere safer with your family. You didn't have to go to the front lines as a surgeon. Why did you do it? And he says, what was I going to do? Wait for the war to come find me? I don't know. Again, just that moments like that make you go, boom. What am I doing with my life? So now, combining the two stories, my friend Danielle Monero of Elvis Duran and The Morning Show. Feel free to comment on one of her posts. I want Tom Kelly to be in your celebrity dating auction. I don't even know if she's really doing it anymore, but she's the one who inspired me to write up this list. Tips for being in and around a charity dating auction. I probably should have done this at the top of the show, but what are you going to do? So what are the thoughts on dating auctions? First, even just from what I was telling you about my story about my friend Nikki. You have to produce your package. Who are you? I'm Tom Kelly. I'm a comedian. What's your 3-sentence biography? I'm a stand-up comedian. I've worked in television. I write for morning radio shows. I have a hit podcast. What will my date be? Now, this is where people who are in relationships can sort of spell out a easy date. What will your date be? You can come watch a live taping of the Tom Kelly Show podcast. You can come see me do stand-up on June 23rd at the West Side Comedy Club. Did I slip in a plug? I think I did. The person auctioned off usually pays for the date. That's my understanding of things. So you can't say, hey, Tom Kelly is going to take you to a Taylor Swift concert and then say, all right, you just have to go to StubHub and buy us some Taylor Swift tickets. Can't do that. Are you actually single? Geez, that's been a theme for 2 episodes now on the show. You know what? Listen, you can't, like when they did me a huge favor. Greg T from Carolina with Greg T on KTU in New York, and TJ, who is a radio personality floating around America right now. They were both on Elvis Duran in the morning show at the time. They both did me a huge favor by participating in a dating auction for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I was trying to impress a different woman at that time, and they were my celebrity hooks. And by the way, that's another Tom Kelly romantic reach that went nowhere. Again, for those of you who love my podcast, you know all my good hookup stories end with me not hooking up. But anyway, are you actually single? Set the expectation. They were both married or borderline married at the time. But hey, people paid for a tour of their studio, and that was the date. The person who wins you may not be the hottest person in the room. When I was in a dating auction, that same dating auction, there was a woman I was in love with at that point in time. Love was the word too. Oh yeah, love. She didn't bid on me. And at the end, there was a cute little red-haired girl. I kept calling her like the Charlie Brown girlfriend, the cute little red-haired girl. Let's say she bid 100 on me. And then there was an angry person who bid 150. You have to go on the date with the person who bids the most. What else? Dress to impress. I'm in a tuxedo. I should be in a dating auction. Work the room. Drive up your price. Engage in conversations with people in the room. You know, that way they know you'd be a great date. Don't be just shy and, sitting on the wall like a flower, a wall flower, if you will, and care about the cause. That's a big one, man. You know, I've always cared about leukemia and lymphoma and fighting cancer. It sounds stupid. It may not have affected my family directly, but when you meet the success stories and you see the great work LLS has done, you get roped into it. Network with other people up for auction. Yeah, I made some good friends that night. I can't remember their names, but I'm sure I did. But it's kind of fun to hang out and sort of be the meat, if you will. You know, to share that bromantic or sisterly moment of being the sexy people in the room, working your way around to be on a date. It is for entertainment purposes only. When you are in a dating auction and you bid on somebody, you listen, and that even goes back to my Army story. Though my Army story is a little bit different, where I wanted my friend to come to a bigger charity event, but I never had a shot with that person. In my heart, I wanted one, but no, it's not going to happen. And I think that's the right way to say it, people. If you have to pay for your first date in a auction situation, it's not going to happen. And you actually have to pay for the date, like I did. Listen, once I accidentally bid that extra $25 or whatever the number was that put me over the top, there was no saying, no, let him have it. No, let him have it. You can't do that. If you bid, you have to pay. And then have fun. God, I feel like, God, that's I wrote that myself, but that is such a Chat GPT writing note. Have fun. And these are my words, but being in a dating auction is a surreal experience. You probably won't do it too many times, though I did it a lot in a year. I probably did it 3 times. That's more than any person should be treating themselves like a prostitute. And it's a chance to make friends, have friends, and whatnot. All right. Let's see how audio drift works. I've done enough podcast. Folks, there are a bunch of new Instagrams up on the reels. Go like them, say hi, comment there. A bunch of new TikToks up. Say hi, like, and comment there. Those are useful to me. And even more useful is when you share any of this stuff with a friend. I see you guys. I support you. Quick magic mirror. Magic mirror to my friend, Colonel Susanna Marcella of the United States Army. At the Army dinner this week, she got pinned on as a full bird colonel. I knew her when she was a lonely captain. And when you talk about how some people in the Army are just the best people, she and her husband, Jamie, were very good to my mom and dad when my mom's house got beaten up during Hurricane Sandy. They made a big effort to take my mom and dad out for dinner to a fondue place on Route 110. And good people, man. Good people. Susanna, congratulations on your promotion. I see you. And for the rest of you guys, new podcasts on Mondays and Wednesdays. I'm going to start producing ahead so there won't be any more weeks off. But there's a whole archive of past stuff. And I pay attention to when the numbers go up there. And I pay attention to when you comment on the old stuff too. I love a lot goes into this, and I love your thoughts on it. Until next time, good night, New York.